Vocal sessions. So when I do vocal sessions, I usually break them up into a few different sessions. Before we get into the final vocals, I'll have a session where we map out the skeleton vocals, the scratch vocals. Okay, so hey, it's got a vocal lead all the way through the song, and maybe there's one other lead, like a double, and then maybe one harmony. But we don't need 20 tracks of vocals just as a guide. This is just something to guide us through the song. Hey, this is what the lyrics are. This is what the melody is, so that I can produce the track around that. So the first guide vocal is something scratch. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then that allows me to make the track. Then after the track's been built, most of the music is already done. Then we have a session where we actually do the final lead vocals, and this is where we get really picky about them and make everything perfect. I don't just try and get all of the vocals done in like an hour or two in the same day for all of them. I don't think that's even a good idea. So day one, all right, we've got the music most of the way built. Cool. Let's do the leads. Starting with lead vocals. Let's just say we do 6 solid takes. And then that gives me enough where I can comp them together and make a really, really nice lead. But then it also gives me enough where if I want to have 2 vocals down the center, or if I want to have a hard left, hard right, I can do that because I've got enough of your lead vocal to do that. So that's at least a starting point. But I like to have enough material, enough audio tracked where I can comp together different things. And I also don't just hit record and let them sing through the entire song or even the entire verse half the time. We take it section by section. It's like a couple bars at a time. So we take small segments, get that small segment right, and then we move to the next segment, and then we move to the next segment, and then we move to the next segment until you've got this perfect aligned lead. And that's what we do. So there's a technique that's used to make these songs sound as perfect as they possibly can be. And that's how it's done. And so, we might spend one day just on the leads. And so, you're talking about if you sing for 4-6 hours straight, your voice is going to get tired. So, if we sing, if I've got you going singing lines and do it again, not that one. Wait, do this, but do it like this. Okay, cool. That one's the one. Okay, cool. Now do that again and do that again and do that again. Then we will get somewhere. And then after you do that for 4 or 6 hours, just for the leads, you're going to be tired. And it's like, all right, cool. Well, we got the leads done. Let's book another session. And then you're going to come back and you're going to do the background vocals or the harmonies. And so you come back for the next section and then you do the harmonies. And then we spend a day of doing that same stuff all over again for the harmonies. And then after we're done with the harmonies, we might have you come back again. Oh, is there any more harmonies we want to do or any changes we want to make? Let's do some things for some little ad libs. Let's do some little accent spots towards the end of the song. I think maybe we should add a couple more layers in. That's what we do. So you're going to end up with, it could be 20 tracks of vocals, 30 tracks of vocals, just vocals. And so that's on top of the song that's got like 100 tracks in it. And that's how these songs are made. That's how these big pop songs are made. There's lots and lots and lots of layers. And so, that's not something you can just do in a day. So let's say we take 3 or 4 days just on vocals for one song. And then that's how we get those level of songs. So that's how I do things. It depends on the singer. Some singers need more time than others. Some singers can sing it right faster. Some singers practice more at home or they have vocal coaches and stuff like that. Some people need more takes. But the better the singer, the quicker we can get the takes right. And the better the engineer. So when I do a really good job at tracking your vocals the right way, it's a more smooth process. And so it sounds very good from the beginning because the way I'm tracking it. Because I do processing as I'm tracking the vocals. So I print effects. I print some EQ. I print some compression, some saturation. I make the secret sauce for your vocal chain, and you're going through some analog gear and some software at the same time. And then that's where we get these results. But that's printed into every single vocal. It's not just like a raw audio file. That's not how it's done. So it's much more like it is in the big studios where they run your mic through a piece of gear. They run you through something. So you get a sound, you get a tone, you get some character. So I'm giving character on the way through as I'm tracking all of these vocals so that I can get a desired result.